Catchy word 266. Not make a dent in it. Are you the type of person who gets work done quickly and easily? Are you the type of person who gets work done quickly and easily? Who gets work done quickly and easily? Are you the type of person who gets work done quickly and easily? Sometimes we may work on a task for a long time, but still not make a lot of progress on it. In this episode, Cassie and Andrew teach 2 expressions you can use in situations where you're stuck or not making progress. These expressions are to not make a dent in something and to go round in circles. Cassie and I will teach you 2 expressions that are great to know and are good ones to add to your vocabulary. They are both about not making progress. So when you're working hard toward achieving a goal, but you're not actually moving forward or getting close to achieving that goal, then you can use these 2 expressions. They are about that kind of situation. So the 2 expressions are to not make a dent in something and to go round in circles. Of course, in this lesson, we'll break them down for you and give you some more usage details and share some examples with you also. So let's get started with the lesson. And the first expression that we are going to teach you about is to not make a dent in something. Okay, it's an expression in the negative form, to not. So to not make a dent in something, and dent is spelled D-E-N-T. Cassie, why don't you go ahead and break this one down for us? The way I want to break this down is by talking about a car. So if you're driving a car and if you hit something going at a slow speed, your car isn't, severely damaged, but it gets a dent. It's when the metal bends slightly forward. So when we use the expression to not make a dent in something, it means that you're not able to do something in such a way that you can't even scratch the surface. You can't even get started on the project. Something is happening to block you from doing even the most basic thing. Yeah, so maybe you have a big job to do and you feel like you only accomplished 1% of that job, then in that kind of situation, you could say, I didn't even make a dent in it. It's just another way to say that you didn't make any progress or you didn't make any impact in the work that you're trying to do. And Cassie, I think this word is a good one to know. I think this word is a good one to know. I think this is a good word. I think this word is a good one to know. Dent. It's one of those like higher level words. It's one of those like higher level words. It's maybe not a word that we use every day. It's maybe not a word. It's maybe not a word that we use every day, but I think it's very natural. And of course, in the right situation, it's appropriate. I was thinking, Cassie, we could play a little game here. And that is, let's go back and forth and try and list the things that you can dent. Things that are dentable. I like this, okay? So you already said car bumper. So I'm gonna respond with the car door. You could dent your car door. If you open the door and you hit another car, maybe you will get a little fold in the metal in your car door. So I'm gonna say car door. Okay, you can dent a can. If you drop a can of soup on the floor, the lid could be dented. You could also dent the side of really any metal surface. I'm thinking that I was worried the other day that I was going to put a dent in my washing machine because I parked my bicycle right beside my washing machine. And if I don't take my bicycle out of that little spot beside my washing machine carefully, then it's possible that I could put a dent in the side of it. It's possible that I could put a dent in the side of it. It's possible that I could put a dent in the side of it. It's possible that I could put a dent in the side of it. It's possible that I could. So you could dent any kind of metal appliance as well. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure you can dent anything that is made out of a thin sheet of metal or maybe even a thin sheet of plastic. Yeah, so maybe we could summarize it here because Cassie, I'm going to forfeit this game because I'm tapped on all of the things I can think of that you can dent. Congratulations on the victory. But maybe we could say that you could put a dent or you could dent any kind of soft, pliable surface where you can make an indentation, right? Indentation into it. So anything that doesn't break or rip, but you just get a little indentation instead of a break or hole, then that is a dent. So now that we really understand this word dent, and we know that the full expression to not make a dent in something means to not make any progress toward finishing your work or achieving your goal, I think now we are ready to listen to a couple of example conversations. So Cassie, let's do example conversation number 1 right now. Yeah, let's do it. What did you do today? I spent all morning cleaning my house and reorganizing my room. My bag is killing me right now. That sucks. But your place must look great now. Not even. I didn't even make a dent in it. I'm far from finished. I'm far from being finished. Well, if you needed some help tomorrow, just let me know. I could stop by and help you for an hour or two. Now, I should be fine, but if I do need the help, I will text you. Let's break this example down. So we just heard a conversation between two friends, and one of the friends is reorganizing her room and cleaning her house. And she was complaining that her back is sore because she's been working so hard all day, but unfortunately, even though she put in a lot of effort and was working really hard toward cleaning her house and reorganizing her room, she's far from finished. She still has a long way to go. She still has a long way to go. She still has a long way to go. I still have a long way to go. She still has a long way to go. I still have a long way to go. She said that she didn't even make a dent in cleaning her house and reorganizing her room. She didn't even make a dent in cleaning her house and reorganizing her room. So that means like maybe she's done 2% or 3%, just a very small percentage of the total amount of work that need to be done. Put in a lot of effort, put in a lot of time, put in a lot of effort and time. I can feel her pain, Andrew. I feel like anytime I clean, I'm never putting any dent in my work. It just goes on forever. It just goes on forever. I can feel her pain. I feel like anytime I clean, I'm never putting any dent in my work. I'm never putting any dent in my work. It just goes on forever. I think a lot of people will empathize with you here, Cassie, in that it feels like whenever you're doing chores around the house that you never make a dent in them. In that it feels like whenever you're doing chores around the house that you never make a dent in them. You do the dishes and then like 3 hours later you eat another meal and you have to do the dishes again. It's just a never-ending cycle. I think a lot of people will empathize with you here, Cassie, in that it feels like whenever you're doing chores around the house that you never make a dent in them. You do the dishes and then like 3 hours later you eat another meal and you have to do the dishes again. It's just a never-ending cycle. 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 It just goes on forever. It just goes on forever. It's just a never-ending cycle. It's just a never-ending cycle. It just goes on forever. Exactly. Well, shall we listen to example number 2? Yep, let's do it. I feel so ripped off. Why is that? Well, last week I spilled a glass of red wine on my sofa and I made this huge stain. So I bought this stain remover cleaning product that I saw advertised on TV that promised it can remove any stain from any surface. I spilled a glass of red wine on my sofa and I made this huge stain. So I bought this stain remover cleaning product that I saw advertised on TV that promised it can remove any stain from any surface. Let me guess, it didn't work very well. Yeah, it didn't even make a dent in the stain. There's still this huge red spot on my sofa. There's still this huge red spot on my sofa. There's still this huge red spot on my sofa. Take it back for a refund. Take it back for a refund. Yeah, I'm going to. Alright, in this example conversation, 2 friends are talking. And one, she's not really talking, she's complaining She got a big stain on her sofa, spilling a glass of red wine, and she buys this cleaning product to remove it. And it is not effective at all. It is not effective at all. It is not effective at all. It doesn't even make a dent in the stain. The stain is very much still visible. So we can visualize a red wine stain. I think most people can visualize that. It's really, really obvious and very, very prominent, right? If you spill that on your sofa, you're like, oh my gosh, I messed up, right? It's a big problem. So she bought this stain remover, but it didn't make a dent. It maybe only removed like 1% of the stain, and the other 99% remains. So that sounds like false advertising to me, Cassie. Yes, those are the worst. Alright, so guys, why don't we move on to the second key expression for today's episode? And it's another one about when you're putting in effort. It's another one about when you're putting in effort and you're working toward achieving a goal, but you're just getting nowhere. You're getting no results, and you're not getting any closer toward finishing or achieving your goals. Get any closer. You're not getting any closer toward. And this expression is to go round in circles. To go round in circles. Cassie, I think we could say also to go around in circles. But to me, it feels more comfortable and normal to say to go round in circles. So, guys, it's your option. You could say to go round, you could say to go around, or you could say to go round. Go around or to go round. But both of them have essentially the same meaning, and that is just to work hard but make no progress. Cassie, when you hear this expression, what image pops into your mind? I wonder if we have the same visualization for this one. It reminds me of a merry-go-round that you can't get off of. You just go round and round and round. Okay, that's interesting. For me, I think of a hamster in a running wheel. And they are putting in a lot of effort. They are running really fast, but they are not moving forward. They are not moving anywhere, right? They are just staying in the same spot. I like that better. So actually, I think that is the perfect image because the hamster is putting in effort and trying to go forward, right? The hamster is putting in effort and trying to go forward, but they don't realize that they are stuck in. They don't realize that they are stuck in a wheel that's just spinning round and round. They don't realize that they are stuck in a wheel that's just spinning round and round. They don't realize that they are stuck in a wheel that's just spinning round and round. And they are not going forward at all. Exactly. Alright, guys. Well, I think we should listen to some example conversations, and through the conversations, you will get better feeling. You will get a better feeling for the meaning of this expression and how we can use it we can use it in a real life situation. So let's take a listen to the final example conversation right now. How's the apartment hunt going? Not so well. I feel like I'm just going around in circles. First, I find a place that sounds good. Then I make an appointment to check it out. And then there's always something wrong with it. It smelled weird. The walls are a weird color. The rent is too high. The faucet leaks, or something like that. Well, I just heard today that Jeff is planning to move out of his place. His apartment is amazing. You've been there, right? Yeah, his place is gorgeous. I'm gonna give him a call right now and see if I can possibly take over his contract. This is gonna be great. Let's break this example conversation down. So in that conversation, we heard about a woman who feels like she's just going round in circles trying to find an apartment. So that means she's working really hard toward trying to find a new apartment to live in, but is making no progress. So she keeps on repeating this kind of cycle where she locates and finds an apartment to check out. Then she takes a look at it, and there's a problem with the place. So then she has to go back to the start. She has to go back to the start and begin again. Find another place to check out, make an appointment to see it, and then there's a problem with it, and it's just going around in circle. She's not getting any closer. Even though she's putting in effort and time to try and find an apartment. Exactly. This actually just happened to me recently. This just happened to me recently. This actually just happened to me recently. This actually just happened to me recently. This actually just happened to me recently when I was looking for apartment in Thailand. This just happened to me. I think it is pretty common. Actually, this kind of situation to go round in circles, looking for an apartment hunting as we call it, is no fun usually. Well, let's take a listen to example number 2. Yes, let's do it. Did you make a decision about next quarter's advertising strategy during the meeting today? Unfortunately, no. We debated about it for hours, but we just kept going around in circles. Does management want you to present your idea by next week? Yeah, so that's the problem. Everyone on the team is getting pretty stressed out. And we're going to meet again. We're going to meet again tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to come up with a plan that everyone's happy with. In this example conversation, two co-workers are talking about the last meeting. This meeting, we're trying to plan some sort of advertising strategy, but it is just not going well. It is not just going well. Everybody in the meeting is just debating back and forth, over and over, going around in circles, and they can't make a good decision. Yeah, and this is a really common situation to this expression is when you're in a meeting that's very unproductive, right? Maybe many people have opinions or different thoughts or different feelings, and you can come to a consensus. You can agree on one final resolution or one final outcome. And then everybody feels frustrated, like, oh, we just wasted all this time. We spent all this time debating, and we got no result or no conclusion. So yeah, that kind of situation, you could say you're going round in circles. And it's really common in that kind of a meeting or debate or any situation like that. To summarize what we've covered today, we learned two expressions about not making any progress toward achieving your goal. The first expression was to not make a dent in something, which means to make very little progress toward achieving your goal. And the second expression was to go round in circles, which means to waste time and energy toward achieving a goal, but making little to no progress toward completing it. That brings us to the end of this lesson. Talk to you next time. Bye. Wasted all this time. Why do you have so many peanut butter in your pantry? My brother works in a peanut butter factory, so he sent me a huge box of peanut butter 2 months ago. Really? 2 months ago? But there are still so many jars left. Yeah, I don't really like peanut butter, so I haven't really made a dent in it yet. Do you want to take a few jars home with me? Do you want to take a few jars home? Do you want to take a few jars home with you? Do you want to take a few jars with you? Do you want to take a few jars home with you? Take it home. Do you want to take them home with you? Do you want to take a few jars home with you? Sure, I love peanut butter. I can't believe Professor Robert assigned 200 pages of reading for next week's class. Assigned. I can't believe Professor Roberts assigned 200 pages of reading for next week's class. Pages of reading. 200 pages of reading for next week's class. I know, all of that, along with the homework for my other classes. I don't know when I'm gonna have time to finish it all. I read it for an hour last night, but I didn't make a dent in it. I still have 190 pages to go. Wow, you're kind of a slow reader. I know, what am I gonna do? To go round in circles. In this episode, Cassie and Andrew introduced the expression to go round in circles, which means to continue to do something without moving forward or making progress. This expression usually means that someone is stuck at a certain point in a task. Sometimes this expression is also used to talk about a conversation when two people don't properly understand each other and they continue to say the same thing over and over. Say the same thing over and over. We are saying the same thing over and over. We are saying the same thing over and over. Properly. In this situation, one of the two people might say, "I think we're just going round in circles." Here are a couple more examples with to go round in circles. Have you finished the novel you've been writing? Not yet. I can't figure out how to write a satisfying end to the story. I keep writing an ending, then deleting it because it doesn't fit. Then I rewrite it, then I delete it again. Sounds like you're going round in circles. Maybe you need a change of scenery. Have you tried writing in a different location? No, I haven't tried that. Maybe that will help. Thanks. Did you talk with your supervisor about the problem you're having at work? Yeah, but we didn't really reach a solution. What do you mean? We just kept going round in circles. I'd explain the issue, and then he'd tell me why it wasn't a big deal, and then I would tell him why I thought it was a big deal. That must have been so frustrating. That must have been so frustrating. That must have been so frustrating. That must have been so annoying. That must have been so fun. That must have been so fun. That must have been so interesting. Annoying. That must have been. It must have been. It must have been. It must have been. You must have been hungry. You must have been upset. You must have been bored. You must have been annoyed. You must have been sad. I hope you can resolve the issue tomorrow. To be tapped. In this episode, while playing a game with Cassie, Andrew says that he forfeited the game because he was tapped on all of the things that he could think of that can be dented. If something is tapped, it is all used or has run out. In Andrew's example, he ran out of ideas of things that can be dented. It's run out. When you hear this expression, it will usually be said as to be tapped on something, such as money, ideas, or resources. The expression can also be used as to be tapped of something. Here are a few more examples with to be tapped. Review an example with to be tapped. Hey, can I borrow $10? I'm tapped on cash. No way, you still haven't paid me back for the last $10 I lent you. No way, you still haven't paid me back for the last $10 I lent you. No way, you still haven't paid me back for the last $10 I lent you. 저번에 빌려준 $10도 아직 안 갚았잖아. No way, you still haven't paid me back for the last $10 I lent you. No way, you still haven't paid me back for the last $10 I lent you. I know, I promise I will pay you back next week. I just need to borrow $10 today. Okay, fine. This is the last time. Though. Okay, fine. This is the last time though. If you don't pay me back this time, I'm not lending you any more money. Thanks. I promise I will pay you back next week. Is your car okay? No, I can't get it to start. What's wrong with it? I don't know. I checked the gas, the engine, the battery, the ignition, and everything else I could think of, and it still won't start. I'm tapped of ideas. I suppose I will have to call a mechanic. To feel someone's pain. In this episode, Andrew gave an example of someone who is cleaning her house, but even after cleaning all day, she has only finished 2% or 3% of her work. Cassie responds by saying, I can feel her pain. To feel someone's pain means to empathize or relate to the situation they are in. So Cassie means that she can empathize with having spent all day cleaning but still having a lot of work to do. This expression can be used in the third person. Like Cassie used it, or it can be used in the second person to say, I feel your pain. When you want to tell someone directly that you empathize with the situation they are in. Here are a few more examples with to feel pain. Hey, how did you do on last week's test? How did you do on last week's test? How did you do? I got a D. I can't believe it. I studied for the test all weekend and still did poorly. I studied for that test. All weekend. I studied for that test all weekend and still did poorly. and still did poorly. 근데도 나빴어. 잘 안 봤어. No, I feel your pain. Last semester I spent a whole week preparing for a midterm and still failed it. And still. I guess sometimes tests are just a bit too hard. I don't know how I'm going to explain this to my parents. Do well at school, do poorly at school. Do poorly. Is your brother coming with us to the basketball game tonight at the high school? I don't think so. He locked himself in his room and won't come out. Why? What happened? He gave a presentation at school. He got so nervous, so he ended up running out of the class midway through his presentation. He told our parents that he's never going back to school again. I feel his pain. I'm terrible at public speaking too. Every time I have to do a presentation, I feel like I'm going to freeze up. I'm gonna freeze up.